Today's video is going to be a little restoration video of these old Cub Cadet IH wheel weights. I'm basically going to be taking the grinder with a, I'll show you here, the grinder with one of these wire wheels. It's a twisted stainless wire wheel, and it works really well for taking paint off. This, I'm sure, I don't know, might have been some sort of powder coat. It's pretty durable. I did a little bit of a test with it, and it doesn't come off the easiest, but it works pretty well. So I'm gonna do that, get them cleaned up as best I can, and then we're gonna spray these John Deere yellow, unfortunately, for those of you who would like to see these white. I recently created a Facebook page for the channel. You can find it on Facebook, Josh's Green Garage. And on there, if you follow it, I'll be putting up some sneak peeks of any projects or anything that I'm working on. Also on there, if I create anything new that I'm selling on my eBay page, it'll be posted on there just as like a notification, like, hey, this is up. It's also just another place to, ask questions, anything like that. If I post something on there, you see it, it's easy to get on there and get information, different things like that. So I'm hoping to start using that for a bunch, just another way to kind of follow some of the stuff if you guys are into this. But yeah, just wanted to make sure I made everybody aware of that. Also, I might start saying it just a little more often. I do have stuff on my eBay page that I'm selling, some plans for a couple of my projects, along with some different decals for the mowers. So feel free, of course, to check that out. Thanks. All right, all set up here. Got that wheel on my grinder, and definitely gonna wear a respirator. I don't know what harmful chemicals could be in this old paint. So let's get started. Took a little time, but I got two nice paintless cast wheel weights. IH. Now, just gonna give these a good wipe down. Pretty rough, and this is leaving lint all over. So I'll probably have to run some tape on it. So I wanted to do this with John Deere paint. Problem is the dealer only had the green in stock in the quart size, because I'm going to HVLP spray this. I'm not going to use the spray cans. There's too much of a chance that the spray can is just not gonna work out and it's gonna give me a bad finish. So granted, these aren't going to be seen much, they'll be on the inside. I kind of want to do a good job. And I want to HVLP spray it. I think it'll be a lot better of a coat. So couldn't get the John Deere stuff, so I got the Rust-Oleum clean metal primer, and this is the kind that's supposed to work well with their enamel paints. And we'll get to the top coat, but unfortunately I couldn't even get the yellow farm implement version. That's the JD yellow. I had to just go with their I don't know, brilliant yellow or whatever it's called. Which, I mean, I guess it's kind of close. It shouldn't be too big of a deal. But we're going to mix this up and then try to thin it out. All right, and not really quite sure how much I'm going to use. I'm just going to guesstimate. I'm not going to try to mix to any kind of crazy ratio. Just going to pour and get to a good spraying consistency. That should be plenty enough. And we're gonna thin with mineral spirits. And that is probably lighter than it should be, but we'll see how it sprays. All right, we're gonna get some yellow mixed up. So this is the Rust-Oleum enamel, the gloss sunburst yellow. Like I said, I could not find the farm implement ones up here. They do have a line that is specific to the different different tractor manufacturers paint colors, but I could only find the John Deere green. I couldn't find yellow anywhere, so here we are. I could spray paint this with the actual John Deere spray cans. I can get that, but I would much rather do it this way. So I'm gonna turn the camera just a little bit. I have some weights sitting there next to me. You can see the difference in color. This is a bit more orange. It's a more, I guess you'd say, rich yellow. So it's definitely going to be a different shade, but we'll see how it turns out. If it turns out good, I'll leave it. If it turns out like crap, I'll probably still leave it, honestly. This paint is thick, so of course this stuff's made to be brushed on, but you can thin it. So thinning it, the primer sprayed really well. I definitely probably had more left over than what I had actually used. Now, granted, I'm going to be putting a lot more yellow on just because it's the top coat, so I want it thicker. But it seemed to spray pretty nice. And to thin it down, just gonna start with a little bit. I feel like I'd much rather do a lot of thin coats, spraying it thin like the primer was spraying thin. I think that's gonna give me a much better result. I mean, generally that's how it works, but I almost wish I would have got, I didn't realize how far off this was going to be, but I almost wish I would have got a can of the white. I could have mixed just a little bit of white with it. Still a little thicker than I'd like. So here is my product after the first coat. They actually don't look too bad. However, if you look close enough, you can kind of see if we can get to focus. On top of all the ridges from the casting, I don't know if it shows up at all, but you can kind of see dark spots still. So I think another coat's gonna finish that up. And I'm doing these outside now because I really just don't feel like masking my garage off again. But there was a bunch of little fuzzies from the rag I wiped it off with initially, and it looked really bad. But I decided to just take a piece of Scotch-Brite to it, and it took them right off. So I think doing a final overcoat now is going to make these look really, really good. And here we have the finished product. So I think they turned out really well, actually, better than I was kind of expecting after my first coat. Of course, I have them sitting next to a set of the actual JD 50-pound wheel weights. So you can see the difference in color. It looks, I guess, pretty bad actually when they're that close to each other and you're actually trying to compare them. But like I said, I think on the inside of the wheel, it's not going to be quite as noticeable. And I think in the future, honestly, if I were to get, you know, the Rust-Oleum JD yellow paint or even the actual John Deere paint, I could always, you know, just recoat it again. Probably just give it a quick scuff with Scotch-Brite and then recoat it, and then I think I'll be good. But honestly, for now, I think that's just fine. As you can see, it looks almost kind of like that construction yellow type color. Quite a bit orangey, but it is what it is. It looks good. So you can see they have a nice gloss to them. So that turned out pretty well. I was a little worried after spraying initially that the roughness of the casting, I thought it was going to be, I guess, I don't know, not really glossy. Like I figured it'd be kind of like a weird, like glossy texture. I don't know. It turned out a lot better than I thought. So yeah, pretty happy with it. You can see the IH logo and everything still. So that's pretty cool. I was able to retain that, whereas before you couldn't see that. So all in all, I think I'll call it a successful restoration for what I was trying to accomplish with it. Of course, I would have hoped to get a bit better color, but it is what it is. I really have little to work with up here. So I do have a ton of the spray cans. I could have spray canned it, but I really wanted to HVLP spray it, and I think it was a good choice all in all. Like I said, one day, who knows, maybe I'll fix it up. So yeah, I'm gonna move some stuff around here and just show you setting it onto the wheel. All right, so I have here the 26 by 12 tire that I use with the ag tires on the 758, and you're actually looking at the inner side of it here. I made extended studs for it. Originally I had it so that these were long enough that I'd be able to fit 2 of the John Deere 50-pound weights on the outside of the wheel. But now I had to lengthen them. I had to get new all thread and cut new all thread in order to make it long enough to go completely through so that I could put these on the inside along with 2 on the outside. So essentially the setup I have in here, and I don't know if you can see it, but against the wheel, there's a washer, a lock washer, and a nut. So minus those, if you were to put a ruler right on top of that nut, there's 3 1/4 to 3 5/16. So that's how much stud you're gonna want to have, you know, sticking out from the backside, in order to have enough to get these weights bolted on. So now, one thing I want to do is I want to note where the other wheels, where the notches is going to be, and that's going to be on this side. I can see my valve stem down there. I want to put these so that the notch is in the same location as they are on the other side. Reason being, I use this to plow with, and if snow or anything gets in there, when it melts, I want it to be able to drain out. So whenever I park the tractor after plowing, I always set it so that the notches are, you know, both lined up on each side as best I can, to where they're both pointed down. That way anything that melts, you know, is free to run out rather than get trapped in there. So I want to make sure that the notch on these is in the same spot, which it is, or it will be. So then I'll just, all right, and then we're just gonna set these on here, just like how I do the outside weights. And I like doing this setup, having, you know, all the extra stud, doing, you know, 4 full-length studs and everything. I just feel like it's a lot easier when it comes to putting the weight on and off. All right, my booler went off. I forgot where I was, but I think I was saying about how I like this setup I do with the studs. It's quite a bit extra. It's a little more time consuming, but it's a lot easier and safer, I think, working with the weights, getting them on and off. And it keeps them fastened a lot more securely. There's essentially like no chance of them moving around once they're bolted on like this. So pretty nice. And I did just find out that I put a nice little chip in one of them here. So that's kind of a bummer, but is what it is. So now all that's left is just putting our lock washers on and fastening them down. And there we have it. Our inner wheel weight securely fastened to the tire. So thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed this fun little project. If you hate me for painting something that's made by IH yellow, I'm sorry. But it fit something that I wanted to try out and do, so had to use it. Unfortunately, John Deere hasn't caught on to the idea of putting an inner wheel weight on their X7 tractors. So yeah, let me know what you think. If you guys like it, you know, maybe it gives you some ideas, try it out, try to find some of these, do whatever. But yeah, I don't think I got anything else. Thanks for watching. Have a good one.